shipyard. The rig glides safely through a debris cloud, the cockpit empty apart from you and Seraphine. So Sleeper, I've been thinking, Seraphine gives you a sly look over his shoulder. I've been thinking, I'm sick of running. Me too. I mean, even if we want to keep going the way we have been, we have run out of belt. Beyond Wellspring, it's mostly rocks and emicated scavengers, and well, I'm a city boy at heart. And not only that, Seraphine meets your eye. We've been building something here, Sleeper. The crew, the ship. He smiled. Hell, we just got this HasNav suit suite for free. Comes a new unit on top of his flight console. I'm asking, how do you feel about taking Lane on? Tell me more? You see what's happening in Wellspring, what Tal's doing. He shakes his head. Kirk is a fool. But he's onto something. Get on the inside, organize, undermine. That I can get on board with. Sounds risky. I'm sure it is, Seraphine smiles. He's enjoying this. Just think about it, Sleeper. We found a way back onto dark side quietly. We make some connections. We start something running. He turns back to his console. It would be one hell of a thing. The two were ruthless the way they run dark side. There's got to be plenty of people fed up with them. Seraphine shrugs, and they have gotten worse on the lane, worse since they pushed the other gangs out. You smile and shake your head at how fast Seraphine can bounce back when he wants to, and as you do, you can't help but consider his plan. Look, maybe it's crazy, but we need a safe harbor either way. I've got a connection in the scatter yards. He'll tuck us away, keep us quiet from everyone. You see Seraphine has his coin in his hand and is turning it over between his fingers as he speaks. If you want, maybe he can help us get into Darkside, but even if you don't, it's a good place to rest up and make a plan. He turns back to the controls to deal with a rapid beep from the new HasNav suit unit. Scatter yards, you heard of them. They have a reputation as a fiercely independent set of shipyards just starward of Darkside. Hiding place right under Lane's nose. Got things to do elsewhere first, go ahead, but the moment we are back in the wash, Lane will be looking out for us. Seraphine turns his focus back to piloting the ship. As you watch debris flit past the ship, you turn your focus to what's ahead. I saw it, Seraphine comes charging into the bunks. I actually saw it, he's wild-eyed and his breath dragging. Oh, what? Seraphine takes a moment to catch his breath, suddenly aware how frantic he sounds. Squints at you. Have you noticed how supplies have been going missing every so often when we travel? I have. You suddenly recall the mysterious mess that was left behind the supply storage. Seraphine sees the flicker of recognition in your eyes. So after it happened a couple of times, I decided to keep an eye on the supply store. Seraphine lowers his voice. You know, check it from time to time. Yes, this cycle, I drifted down there really quiet. He leans in and whoosh! Something flew past me. He shakes his head, knocked me right into the wall. Did you get a look at it? I mean, I didn't hang around, but it was definitely some kind of creature. There's really a creature loose on the ship. You look around the berth, suddenly aware that something could be hiding nearby, tucked into the vents perhaps. You know this thing likes supplies, right? Seraphine is also glancing around for hiding places, so we lock them down tighter, keep it out. That way it will get desperate. And then, Seraphine raises his finger, it will make a mistake. What are you talking about? Bliss leans in from the corner. I can hear you all the way in the workshop. Seraphine saw the supply thief. Bliss looks between the two of you with a raised eyebrow. From the way you are talking, I'm assuming it's not human. Something small and dark, something fast. Seraphine looks at Bliss. We're going to lock up the supplies to drive it out. Bliss looks at Seraphine. If it's an animal, we don't want to make it any more scared and desperate than it already is. How about we lock up the supplies but leave some out in a special place, try to bait it. And then grab it, Seraphine minds that. No, Bliss looks between the two of you. We show it that it has nothing to fear. We tame it. It didn't seem very tameable, Seraphine rubs his sore ribs. Plus, we already wasted enough supplies on this thing. You want to give it more? Hey there, yeah. Hey, CJ. How's it going, buddy? Seraphine turns to you. What do you think, Sleeper? You look between the two of them, still processing this thing. Let's try to tame it. Seraphine sighs. What a waste. Alright, Bliss nods. You'll have to come down to the supply store every few cycles and put out some more food. That way it won't get desperate and do anything dangerous. I lock the supplies up tight. Seraphine folds his arms. You won't get into them anymore. Plan set, Bliss and Seraph leave the berth, heading in separate directions. You watch them go. It seems your ship has a stowaway. The question is, how will you deal with it? It's you, a familiar voice echoes down the tunnel behind you. Returning the passage to see Femi work towering over you. He shakes his head. This just keeps getting better. Been a while, Femi? Yeah, I guess. He frowns and glances over his shoulder. Remember Nia, that sister of mine you thought you'd take on a contract? Well, she's taking some inspiration from your little trip. You can see anger burning in Femi's eyes, but there's a tightness there too. He folds his arms across his broad chest. The symbol crash has been in repair since we got out of Hexport. Caught up in that whole mess. Femi sighs. So then, stuck here, she gets bored and decides to sign up with another crew, take a job. I said no and she went anyway. Femi glares at you. What's that to do with me? Nice attitude, Femi shakes his head. I asked around. Turns out Nia signed on with some idiots heading out to Cutter's End. Femi says the name with an emphasis you can't place. They are as green as you, meaning they have no idea what they're doing going out to a place like that. So you, Femi gives the chest with a finger, are gonna take me out there to go get her. Knows what she's doing. Even if she does, the crew she's with sure as hell don't. Femi frowns. We're not leaving it to chance. Look, I know how these things go. I got shits. I can pay. Femi grimaces. I can't pay for the parts the Simulcrash needs when no one sells them anyway. 250 crow. Femi falls across his chest. No bargaining. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the Simulcrash ready to make the run herself. He sighs. But the shape she's in is not the best idea to head out there alone. You suddenly see the desperation in his eyes. He would risk everything for Nia. We're waiting. We need to head out soon. Femi grips his shoulder. Don't test my patience. Femi kicks off and glides back along the passage towards his ship. And don't even think about skipping out the flotsam without me, he calls back to you. And we're really done. What the heck, man? I need engine components. I need 3 more. Okay. Well, first we need food. We need fuel. Oops. We need that. Okay. We need to go and do this now. Oh, nothing else we can do about this, but to go. Oh wait. Yeah, I don't have any points. Let's go. What the hell is happening out there? Femi is up and about his seat at the moment Seraphim brings the rig to rest near the asteroid known as Cutter's-End. The ominous name is one of those origins that's become increasingly obvious as you approach through thick clouds of debris and chunks of rock among which corroded remains of wrecks could be seen floating. As you look out on the splintered and terraced rock, you can't help but feel a slowly growing sense of dread. Look there! Femi comes close to the cockpit glass and points to the terraced quarry cut in the rock. The mine's awake. You look out and see the flickering lights, the glowing dock markers. Femi shakes his head. That's not right. Neither is that. Seraphim nods towards the asteroid as you see a ship now tucked into the shadow of the rock, flashing its signal lights at you. I'm guessing that's the crew we're looking for. Visitors, huh? The voice wavers weakly as it comes through the ship's comms. So you lot friendly? Seraphim glances back at you, raising his eyebrows. It's not long before you and Femi are suiting up, an agreement having been made between the Seraphim and the pilots of the other ship, a man called Bear. You meet in the neutral ground of open space. Femi is silent, his anger evident of the way he forces his legs into the truss of his suit. Then you're out, the vast shape of Cutter's-End flickering with strange lights below you and the pinprick of the pilot's suit, the lights slowly coming closer ahead. You two are a sight for sore eyes. You see a crooked grin from Baird framed in the hard lines of his ramshackle spacesuit. What brings you to the arsehole of the starward belt? His sharp eyes scan you and Femi, checking your suits and gear. What happened here? Baird's eyes flick to you and you notice a familiar reaction across his face, an acknowledgement that he recognizes you as a sleeper. Came all the way out here to ask a question like that? Baird glances between the two of you and then smiles his crooked smile. Are you two detectives or something? You brought a freelancer out here, Femi interrupts, his voice flat and direct over the comm channel. Nia, where is she? Baird pauses, considering his answer. A whole crew is down the throat of that thing. He jerks the thumb towards the asteroid. You're welcome to wait. The tone of his voice suggests the opposite. Well, I'll have you know, we look after our crew. So if you're here to settle a debt, I'm here to take her home. Femi cuts him off, and I'm not waiting. Thing is, big man, Baird grins, they are deep into the quarry on a tip-off. Unless you want to go chasing them around the dark maze of that place, you're shit out of luck. You turn on the light. Pierre looks over at the flaking quarry as if he forgot it was there. He looks back at you. Was like that when we got here, he shrugs. Enough, Femi cuts again. We both know Cutter's-End has been dead for as long as anyone can remember. And even then, it wasn't worth the risk to pick through those tunnels. Femi moves closer to Baird. That rock has claimed more crews than any other. Her smile fades. If you're going to be rude, I'm done talking. Who's to say you aren't trying to jump our claim? Forget this. Femi turns and heads back towards the ship. Baird smiles at you. Big man seems touchy. He squints at the rig. He's going to get you in trouble. Baird retreats to his ship and you to yours. We need to go in. Femi's impatient, gathering tools and loading them into the airlock. Right now. What's Baird hiding? Who cares? These idiots clearly think they are onto something and they are desperately to keep it to themselves. What matters is our ingress. Femi grabs a cutting torch from the rack. There's a borehole on this side of the rock, could get us in under the radar. But we dive right down in the main shaft. Femi meets your eyes. I'll leave the call to you. Dinner arrives at the airlock and stares at Femi's angry tool gathering. We going in then? He gives you a nervous glance. There's something wrong about that place, Sleeper. We need to be careful. Get ready to depart, well aware that you're heading into a situation you don't quite understand. Okay, so that is the... this is the alternative access. Okay. What a shit roll this was, though. Yeah, can't do it anymore. Yep, that should be it. And that one. You have left the rumbling growing as you descended into Kadazan, but no one has wanted to bring attention to it. Now floating in a cavernous rock wall passage, it is impossible to ignore. Sleeper, Yuni's voice crackles over the comms. I'm getting concerned. You squint down a tunnel beyond the limits of your suit's lights. You swear you see something flicker there in the unseen passages beyond. There's a strangeness to the mind, to its flashing lights and empty conveyors running on some residual power. Well, Femi has told you it wasn't always like this. Kadazan has a fearsome reputation as a dark and deadly maze. A ripped open rock not worth the trouble of its corroded salvage. Now it's a moving maze, his automated system giving a new, faltering life, brought back from hundreds of cycles in the shadows. And one of those systems is rumbling through the dark ahead. Let's keep it moving, Femi passes you in the passage. We don't need to wait. Okay, it's slow, Femi. We are too far behind. We need to catch up. Femi glides ahead, the beams of his suit lights painting the rock walls of the cavern a pale grey. Femi's lights reveal an intersection, another tunnel cutting across this one, offering 3 routes ahead. Suddenly you're blinded by a wall of light beyond the intersection. The rumble is everywhere, shaking dust and rock off the walls in dense clouds. Squinting in the light, you see a ring of lamps, and between them the grinding maw of some terrible machine. It bears down on the crew, grinding through debris. From an escape? You shield your eyes and scan the walls around you there, revealing the powerful lamps of the mining machine. You see a small square passage cut into the rock. Signaling the others, you dodge inside, gliding into safety of the dark passage. A moment later, the machine rumbles past the entrance, spitting a hail of debris into the tunnel. You don't stop. Carried forward by the tide of rock, you merge into another cavern. You good? Femi's voice is broken up, a gasp for air. You turn to see him staring into the dark, shaking his head. That's not... Yuni's breathing matches Femi's. Do that again. We need to keep going. Femi's dusting off his suit. That mining machine must be keeping Nia's crew down here. You have to get past it. Keeping him down here, or... Your mind drifts the worst option. Can any crew really hope to survive all this? When they woke up this place, they woke up that machine. Femi starts to move down the passage. It's running an old programming. It's not hunting us. It's not smart. Femi turns back to face you. His eyes ringed with fatigue and stress. We can beat it. You hope he's right. Okay. leaves 2. This one 2 also. Do this. Should be gone. That's all I can do this round. To me, Sleeper, Femi beckons you over to a section of the cabin wall. You glide over and immediately spot what he was found. There's a large passage splitting off from this one, but if it is not the passage itself that is of interest, these are the remains of a barricade freshly welded that draws your attention. It came through here. Femi's eyes flick over the ruins. They try to keep it out. You look at the fresh cuts in the wall, the stone gouged out, the crumbled metal bent and crushed, and most tellingly the flattened remains of a welding torch embedded into the rock. The crew took a stand at this very place. Reach down and put a hand on the remains of the torch. Nia was here. Then you feel it, the rumble through the torch through the rock wall. You look up at Femi and he sees in your face. The machine is coming. Go! Femi meets your eye. Get safe! Looks over your shoulder and then suddenly he's bathing in the blinding light of the machine's lamps. No, we stay together. You go to protest, but Femi kicks you in the chest, sending you spinning away out of the path of the machine. By the time you catch yourself off the cabin wall and turn, you see Femi there in the middle of the passage entrance, lit white in the lamps. He waits agonizingly long until he knows the machine is coming for him, and then he kicks off hard and glides into the dark. The machine rumbles through in a hail of rock and dust, and you follow after it, batting away chunks of stone. You're slowed by the debris, and the machine pulls out ahead, rumbling endlessly onward through the tunnels with rock and metal. Then it's gone. The cabin shakes, filling with dust, your vision grey. Comms click and hiss, and chunks of rock funk off the faceplate of your helmet. Then you see them. The faint lights of Femi's suit as he struggles through the dust. We got it, Femi says. He reaches you, his hands on your shoulder. Somehow we got it. Take some time to understand what happened. As the dust clears, you find yourself at the lip of the shaft filled with debris. This huge pit, thick with shards of rock, must have been a refuse pit for the mine, a place to pipe the tailings, the waste. Take some time to understand what happened. As the dust clears, you find... yeah, we read that. The machine went straight into this shaft, spinning into the open space and debris, shredding itself against a million razor-sharp bits of rock. Looking down into the pit, your lamps illuminate a few pieces of the machine. The rest is surely down there, deep inside a dense debris cloud. This is long before Femi is calling you once again, this time to another still complete barricade, a barricade over the door to a machine room, sealed and secure. The last retreat of the crew you followed into this nightmare. Oh, we had to... Is this refuse shaft? What will this do now then if the creature... She was useless in this round. Oh, what? She only gave one? I can definitely just give one. What the heck? As the barricaded door has been opened, you are blinded once again by a wall of light. You and Femi raise your hands instinctively, squinting into the lamps and dust. You feel a flash of fear in the pit of your stomach, bracing yourself for what's to come. Femi? The voice comes crisp and clear over the local comms. What are you doing here? Nia drifts out the lights in an old, dust-caked suit. She looks between the two of you with a blank expression, blinking rapidly. Femi stares her, frozen for a moment, then rushes to her, wrapping her in a wide embrace. They float there, in the light and dust, two bodies bound together. Nia pulls back. I don't understand. You follow me out here? He looks over at you and then back to Femi. How did you find me? You left without telling me. What did you expect? Femi glares at her. You aren't ready for this. Nia retreats further at Femi's words, slipping out of his reach. Femi? Nia shakes her head. After all these years, you have no idea what I'm ready for. Movement in the light catches your eye and you see motion through the dust. A figure in a suit drifts out, hunched and clutching their abdomen. Turn to face Nia and you see her lips moving as they speak on a private channel. You look over to Femi, but he is staring straight ahead, his eyes wide with anger. You, he points at the figure. What kind of idiot are you, dragging my sister out here to this place? With that machine running riot, he moves towards the figure. Speak up, what are you thinking? Nia blocks his path forwards, getting between Femi and the figure. Femi, you meathead, she glares at her brother. This is my job, I brought them here. Femi for once falls silent. Did you Google Translate that one? It takes a while to make the return trip back up through Cutter's End, especially with Nia's injured crewmate. To ascend, Nia tells you the story of the job, Femi keeping his distance and leading the way in silence. The mining machine you had faced was that she had been looking for to extract, a job she and Baird put together after meeting in the narrow escape. He knew a way to jumpstart the mine, and the access that would open up meant the new salvage. One of those pre-collapsed boarding machines was worth major cry to any mining outfit in the belt, and Baird had a contact who was ready to buy. It was going well until Hirata here, he announced at the crumpled-looking crewmate. Hooked the mining machine up to the main line. Something went in its automation core, and it lost its shit. The plan was to barricade it and put together a shock trap to fry the core. Nia looks ahead at the back of the female's suit, far ahead up the tunnel. But that's worthless now that my brother shredded the thing. He was just worried. Always is, Nia sighs, and you get the feeling that she's trying to resist the habit of bad-mouthing Femi. We lucky you came. As you move through the facility, you notice most of it is dark now, the power from Baird's jump-starting fading away to nothing. Soon this place will be quiet, ruined once more. You send up through the quarry and out into open space where Baird is waiting. Friends of yours? Baird shakes his head at Nia. Maybe you could have warned me they would be coming. Not something I knew. She looks at Femi, who is broken off from the group and is heading for the rig. My brother doesn't intend to give anyone a warning. I'll take them from here. Baird puts an arm around Hirata to guide them back to the ship. Look, mate, Beard turns to you. No hard feelings. Thanks for getting him out, even if you did screw the job while you were at it. He grins a crooked grin. I guess that makes it square. Beard glides away towards the ship. I should ride back with them, but I'll see you in Plaza. Nia gives you a warm smile. Thanks for helping my brother. I know he appreciates you, whatever he does or doesn't say. Watch you go out and glide over to the rig as the last flickering lights of Cuddy's head fade. There's nothing I can do here now. So we need 8 of these. Well, nothing we can do, so let's leave. Kammaren. That was a little bit of a weird choice of words. You're in the cockpit with Seraphim when you hear it. Sounds like a muffled crash and impact reverberating from the back of the ship, but there is a wetness to it. Spattering cascade that sounds like nothing else you have heard. The sound makes you rush through the corridor, and that's where you see it. A cloud of food packets and pieces spilling out in the corridor, looped around by the expanding stringy shapes of liquid rations leaking from the pouches. What the? Seraphim is at your shoulder. The supply store! Pushes past and rushes through the corridor, batting away the debris as he does. Follow behind, ducking and twisting arms of amber liquid on their way to spatter lazily on the interior walls of the passage. We found Seraphim in the doorway to the supply store, surveying the chaos. The crates have been smashed into each other with serious force, now spilling into the air where the food whirls in some unseen current. How could the creature have done this? Look, Seraphim nods at the bent back vent panel under one of the crates, which is pumping out air with incredible force. It's the main life support feed from the air recycler. Goes over to the inspector panel. It's been clawed open. He points to the evenly spaced marks on the outside. There were some screws missing. He taps the empty holes. You can't have taken much to lever it open. And you hear it, a shrill mewl from behind you in the corridor. Framed by the doorway, a cat drifts through the air, batting at a food pouch. The stray barely acknowledges you as he moves past, angling its body to catch the droplets of liquid that are released from the packet. What the hell is that? Seraphim's hissed question comes in. It's a cat! What's a cat? Seraphim says the word strangely. You both lean out to the doorway to see where the stray went. Hey there, girl. Bliss floats in the corridor, beckoning. They hold up their hands so the cat can see them. Not here to take those rations away, alright? The bow watches the stray twist balletically through the air, flexing as it floats and using its claws to catch one of the corridor's reinforcing ribs. Then it swings itself to the wall where it perches and watches Bliss with big eyes. The comfort of its movement in 0G is striking, and you realize you had never seen an animal navigate in microgravity before. That's a cat? Seraphim is watching quietly now, too fascinated by the creature. I thought they would be bigger. That's a fairly small one. How big do they grow? Seraphim turns to you and looks at confusion flash across his face. Wait, where have you seen a cat? The question makes you pause. Where have you seen a cat? Not on the belt, not on CLG. You close your eyes and bring to mind the faint image of a cat stretching in the sun. Somewhere warm, somewhere with weight, with gravity. You touch the fur of its back and it reacts, sliding against your hand. Careful, Seraphim, his warning brings you back. Bliss is reaching out to the stray. Shh. You scare her. Bliss makes a thudding sound. You had cast back on the eye, but they were in spin gravity there. Stray's big eyes watch Bliss' hands as it approaches. When they touch the top of her head, the stray does not move, does not react. Look at her leg. Bliss nods at the sleeve on the cat. She's been hurt before and taken care of. She's really scared. See, the cat is gently trembling with Bliss's touch, but slowly she settles and angles her head for Bliss to scratch her head. For her ear. The movement brings back to the mysterious memory. What is its origin? Focusing on it makes your skin tremble, a shiver running up your arms. It's ruined out all our supplies. Seraphine is looking back in the supply store now. None of this is usable. She tore open the vent and ruined it all. You can't blame her for that. Bliss is floating beside the stray now, gently petting him. We let her get desperate and she couldn't have known the vent would do that. Maybe true, but we can't risk it happening again. What if we've been on a contract? Seraphine gives Bliss a reproachful look. Can't keep it. Bliss shakes her head. She's a stray. She needs a home. Right, Sleeper? We're keeping her. Bliss smiles wildly, unable to contain their excitement. You won't regret it. They look at Seraphine. Plus, the rig is already full of strays as it is. I guess it is, Seraphine concedes. You have to feed her though, Sleeper. She's your responsibility. He eyes the stray. I never thought a cat could eat so much. Seraphine's right. Looks like you will need to keep feeding the stray every few seconds if you want her to stick around. It's going to be expensive. We get used to her. Seraphine reaches out sheepishly towards the stray. As he does, the cat bats playfully at his hand, and he pulls it away. If you say so, he sighs. I'm not really used to animals. He watches as Bliss tries to get Seraphine to pet the stray properly, guiding his hands to its ears for a scratch and explain how to approach her. As you do, the memory of the other cat runs through your mind. It feels like a raw wound, one that, if you touch it, only brings pain. We can't help but pick at it, knowing that it might contain some distant part of you. When you arrive back in Flotsam, Femi rushes out of the ship the moment the docking tunnel is connected. He's off out of the airlock and down the passage. Well, go after him then, Seraphine says, not looking up from his diagnostics. Found Femi in the passage between the docks, watching as Nia glides towards him. You catch a glimpse of Nia's face over his shoulder. She looks nervous, slowing her approach as she comes close to Femi, his considerable frame blocking the tunnel. Femi, aye? Nia starts. Femi holds up a hand to quiet her. I'm sorry. His voice is flat, quieter than usual. I'm the one who's sorry. I made the excuse to myself that I was trying to protect you, Femi looks down, but I was trying to control you. I've been suffocating you, he means Nia's eyes. I see that now. That it took something like this for me to see it is on me. Femi's voice cracks and her tunnel suddenly feels more intimate. He folds his arms, regaining his composure. I understand if... Shut up, you idiot. Nia violently embraces her brother, banging him into the metal wall. She laughs, wiping her face. Femi sniffs. Had enough of your speeches, Nia smiles. Apology accepted. Not a speech. Femi can't help but take his typical self-serious tone with Nia. But you see, it makes her smile. I have something I need to say. You're a powerful person. I have been trying to curb that because it scares me. And it scares me how little it scares you. He laughs an uncharacteristically light laugh. But I'll stop placing those limits on you. In fact, I want you to have the ship. Femi seems pleased that this stuns Nia into silence. I can make my own way, fun work with crews. He glances over the shoulder at you. Perhaps Sleeper would take me on. But I need some time away from leading, from captaincy. Well, you need anything but. He puts his hand on her shoulder. The symbol crash is yours. Nia sighs. Femi, you really need to listen more. I don't want your ship. It is her turn to be pleased with his shot. You're right, I am a powerful person, but Cutter's Edge showed me I'm not ready to lead. I want to learn more, to work with a crew, but preferably not one I'm related to. She punches him on the shoulder playfully. Nia looks over Femi's shoulder at you. I was actually thinking Sleeper's crew might be the right fit. She flashes you a smile. You suddenly feel the attention of the moment shifted to you and your apparent role in this family drama. Nia puts her hands on her hips. Well, Sleeper, what do you think? Well, take Nia with you. Nia nods. I'm honored, really. I know I will learn a lot from you. Femi turns into the corridor to face you, his face set in an intimidating glare. You better take good care of her, he smiles, but you can't help but take him seriously. How about we find somewhere to celebrate? Nia pushes Femi towards you down the corridor. Come on. Later on, you find yourself in the narrow escape in a quiet corner with Femi. You see his eyes are on Nia, who is at the bar, trying to get the attention of the server. What's the secret? Femi turns to you. How do you stop it weighing you down? Your crew, your connections, all those people that rely on you. Femi frowns. How do you bear the weight? I don't carry it alone. Femi nods. I have to get better at that. At asking for help. He looks down at the table, smiling. Takes a long sip through the straw of his container, the last dregs of something amber and potent disappearing as he does. Looks up at you. She's gone, isn't she? You look over at the bar and can't see Nia amongst the crowd. You turn to Femi, confused. She never was good with goodbyes. He smiles. She'll be waiting at your ship. Don't worry. Just down his drink. Time I left too. He squeezes your shoulder. I got things to work on. Look after yourself, sleeper. He pushes himself away from the corner and drifts out of the bar. You watch him go, one more body passing through the belt, trying to find a way to change the future. Oh god. Why do they have to pop up like side stuff like all over the place, man? Where was it? Okay, you know what? Let's buy. Need 8. And go, and then we need to do some work, right? Okay. And have more fuel. We got more fuel. That means we can travel longer distances. Okay, we're gonna do a quick tour over there. You're the first to notice them small white smooth shapes at the boundaries between hull plates, in the seams of paneling curling out from the beneath vents. Mushrooms dotted here and there all across the cargo bay. Mushrooms growing on your ship. It doesn't seem very hygienic. Bliss floats next to you, surveying the scattering of pale caps in the cargo bay. Hard not to agree, although you doubt spores and fungi can have a significant effect on your body. Not that you have risked it before. You should have entered cargo bay. Seraphine's voice crackles through the cargo bay speakers. He's flying the ship, but you updated him on our new passengers. It's what comes from having spores in wonky crates sitting in your bay, cycle after cycle. You look with slight embarrassment at a ragged spore crate that Nemba asked you to deliver to Aki as a gift. Maybe you should have proved a faster courier. Police sees you looking. Hey, don't blame yourself. They don't seem to be hurting anyone. They float over to Cap and tear it off the stem. We know from Nemba that these are edible, so we could farm them. We are always short of supplies. Seraphine's voice buzzed through the speakers, but a few caps don't make a meal. Police inspects the cap. I do like a good mushroom. They sniff it. Back on the eye, they had these matsutake that smelled amazing. Look over the cargo bay. It doesn't get used much. Most of your halls fit comfortably in one quarter. There's plenty of room to isolate the little growing area, maybe with some plastic sheets. We could just open the hatch and let the void of space sterilize the whole place for you as you fly. After if these things get into the air recycler, you could have a serious problem in your hands. Who knows what they might do to the wiring. By the way, you better keep hold of the packed spore crate. Maybe just secure it in its own locker. Member wouldn't be impressed if you wanted those spores. But the mushrooms, you need to decide what to do with them. Oh god. Event the bay. I don't trust this with the mushrooms, as he said. They can go everywhere. Oh, event. You sure about that? Certainly what crackers always be. Yep, vent them. Alright then, Seraphine voices. Better safe than sorry. You two will need to do it locally. Take some minutes to move the cargo from the bay into secure lockers. Once you're done, you and Bliss back out and seal the doors. Sorry, we'll find you, Bliss says to the room as they start cargo bay doors opening. We want to keep you, but there wasn't much room. Oh my god. Dude, this is as bad as CJ's puns, man. Bay vents into space, some of the caps torn from the place and thrown out into the void by the pressure change. You look at Bliss. What? They grin. Seraphine's not the only one who can make jokes, you know? So annoying that I have to go this way and then that way. I just want to get here eventually, but I have to go doot doot, and then I have to go doot doot. It's like, what the heck is this way 50 miles turnaround? No, what the heck? Oh, god damn it. Yeah, we didn't have nothing more to do here, really. Over here I want to get to. Biosphere once barren is transformed, where it was once dry and grey, now swirls with amber dust, a hazy cloud cut through with the bone-white tendrils of steppe silk. Aki, mask and goggles, lets the biosphere circulating airplay with the end of her scarf, twirling and twisting, even threatening to rip it from her neck. That scarf, she has explained, is woven from the bast fibers of the steppe silk itself. That is why this place is known as the Weaver's Fields, the workshops of Greenbelt residents creating fabric from its steppe silk fibers, weavers who fled from Ember's steppe and those who taught afresh by Aki herself. Isn't it beautiful? Asked Aki asked, her eyes glowing. Ember steppe reborn on this rock, but not as an archive, it's something new. Plants themselves are reconfigured. The steppe silk adapts well to the microgravity, even thrives. And the dust itself becomes a cloud that surrounds it. Aki points to a tendril stretching across the space. What was once a burying plant is now a bridging plant. Like us, its project itself across empty space, pushing it out into its new conditions. Aki looks at you. Sorry I'm rambling, this place does that to me. Her chuckle is muffled by her mask. It is beautiful. Aki bows, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Let's leave the dust house, we can talk more easily outside. He shepherds you through some nearby double doors, space between blasting you with air to clean away the dust. Find yourself in a sparse room, racks of unfamiliar tools on the walls, slit like windows looking out in the amber dust storm. This is just the beginning for us. Aki has slipped off her mask and her voice is crisp and bright above the rumbling of the ear recyclers. Steppe silk is already being harvested, retted and woven. This is no synthetic fiber from the dark side looms. This is natural fabric out here in this unnatural place. Aki pushes a little dust away. We'll trade it and get what the Greenbelt needs to stay stable, to feed its people. I'm the administrator, but the workers are the owners here. We'll make a future for ourselves from our work. Aki shrugs. We control our path, what more could we want? Silence falls in the room, the idea of such a future so desirable that it's almost painful, an idea that haunts you. You can spend as much time here as you like. Aki breaks the silence somewhere aware of your thoughts. I find the noise soothes me. Thank you. Aki bows gently. Aki poses, there's something you want to ask me, she smiles. I can see it right here at the tip of your tongue. Explain about Nemba. Aki listens carefully as you talk about the refugees in the far spindle and the possibility of setting up a mutual relationship between them and Greenbelt. Far spindle is a long way from here, she sighs. Come, find me in my unit later, we can discuss more then. We leave Aki in her dust house surrounded by the landscape of her homeworld, one of many creatures born on the parched moon that is in the process of transforming into something new. Why do we have to talk in somewhere other place? It's like, what? That makes like no real sense. Okay, gift spores. Come in, the door of Aki's unit slits open and you see her perched at a terminal, her face pale in the blue light of the screen. You've not seen her in this setting before. She seems paler, older when she isn't surrounded by the soft light of the biomes. Just one moment, her eyes do not leave the screen and she leans in closer, squinting at some detail. You get a sense that this is her least favorite part of her ministry position. She sighs and looks up. Done. Immediately her eyes are drawn to the crate you carry. What have you brought me? A gift. She raises her eyebrows. From who? Let me see. As she unlocks the one catches on the crate, you explain about Nemba and his work to feed the refugees in the underhang. You aren't sure Aki is listening though. She seems too eager to see inside the crate. Aki manages to get the lid open and lifts a dented canister out of the inside. She turns it, peering in through the small windows at the dusty-looking translucent sheet curled inside. Spores prints! She looks at you. This is quite a gift from this Nemba, you said. She carefully slots the canister away. We'll make good use of these. The tunnels under the Greenbelt will make an excellent mushroom garden. She smiles to herself. I was lucky enough to be taught how to tend mushrooms by a true expert. Will you meet Nemba? A meeting. She glances over her shoulder at the terminal. I can't leave Greenbelt. Not now. She looks at you sheepishly. I'm a little nervous to ask this of you, giving you ferrying back and forth of messages and deliveries, but would you bring Nemba here so we can speak? Oh, gladly. I hope that will be the case. A shrill beeping emanating from Aki's terminal. Ah, she smiles. The Weavers. I need to speak to them. Make your way out of the unit as Aki takes a deep breath and accepts the incoming transmission. One more round from Greenbelt to the far spin and back again. At least you aren't carrying spores this time. Oh my freaking god, man. This is such an annoyance though. This is like time wasting of a maximum. There's nothing we can do with our dice here. Nope. The annoying part, I can't travel straight ahead. I have to go through this. Now I need fuel. Then we have to fly back again. This is such a time-wasting mission. Oh my god, I have to give me the fuel? Oh, thank God I didn't have to fly back then. Aki comes to meet Nemba at the entrance to Greenfields. You can tell she's in full administrator mode. Her bows are precise, her words carefully chosen, but her manner is not without its distinctive warmth. Nemba responds in kind, taking a diplomatic tone, but with a wry grin for her benefit. Aki provides a tour. You watch them from one of the bridges, their conversation muffled by the greenery all around. Both look at home amongst the growing things, hands reaching out to touch stray leaves, faces dappled with sunlight. Nemba turns afterwards, you aren't surprised to see him pleased. Plans are in motion, sleeper. Nemba smiles for a moment and then catching himself. Optimistic plans. So what did you negotiate? It is, I hope, a mutually useful agreement. Graciously offered a regular supply of steps in cloth for clothing and construction of shelters in the base of the underhang. We are also going to see about settling people here in Greenbelt to work with the farmers. Besides, it's always a little strange to talk like this about the lives of people who have been exposed to so much suffering. But we do them no benefit to couch our words in platitudes. Nemba looks out at the green fields. Aki understands that. You have to understand the first game to understand what the real story is. These deliveries I'm doing, this is just extra stuff. I'm helping people, that's all. You don't need to do these things. You can just tell people to go and, ignore them. She's a refugee herself. She fled her moon many cycles ago. Nemba squints. We share that as well. You fled the war? I did. Does that change how you see me? Nemba sighs. Would it have made you treat me differently? He sniffs. Sorry. I'm being unfair. I just found there's an exception that if I'm a refugee, I must be desperate. I must beg for aid, show my suffering. Nemba folds his arms. I prefer to make plain requests or even better strong demands. You seem to be looking at just when I'm doing these things, because otherwise it's a much deeper game about the story about you and your friends and how you're escaping things and what you want to do. You think of the back and forth journeys made for both Aki and Nemba, and the aid that was asked of you. Would you have done the same if the request hadn't been so strong, the demand so obvious? Thinking to Aki, I could see she has experienced the same treatment, though I think she is less hardened by it. Both have our own reasons to do what we do, why we enjoy it in our own ways. We don't need to explain ourselves to others. Nemba looks over his glass at you. I'm glad to have met her. Thank you for your part in it. I'm glad to help. What I like about you, Sleepy, is that I believe you when you say that. Nemba smiles wryly. I'll stay a little longer. Aki's promised to send me back to the far spindle with the first shipment of fabric. I'll then gather those who wish to come here and send them back in the same freighter. He smiles warmly at the view of the greenfield. The exchange begins. The work never ends. You say your goodbyes and leave Nemba on the bridge, enjoying the dapple light. Through all the shuttling of spores across the belt, you finally have a clear view of Aki and Nemba and the response to their own hardship. They're not saints acting from a position of purity, but they're pragmatists with an intent to change those things that once marked them. The future they will build together is one you are eager to see. Okay, can I finally leave this place now? Okay, let's see that, and let's eat. We have full there. There's nothing else to do here, so we are taking there, and I can't go there. I have to go here first and then there. Working our way to the shipyard. making money. Oh, we're rich again. Oh, we're poor again. Okay, let's do the last one here. Let's see what's to do here. It's just aftermath, okay. Oh. They pay well. 8 cryo? Wouldn't say that's paying well. That's a freaking robbery. Yeah, we can stay one more round. Try to help them with this place up here. What do you mean, fried, Kimball? Our station depends on that array. The voice echoes out of one of Sunward Pole's cramped bays tucked up in the ceiling of the hollow. But you were tired from a shift spent sealing leaks in the shadowed section of the station. You still can't help but listen in. I have been patient, Kimball. But now, with the repairs almost done, you tell me we can't broadcast anyway? The voice comes from a doorway nearby, and as you float past, you glance inside. You see a woman facing away, addressing the back of a man half buried in the guts of some complex machine. I'm sorry, Kimball, she concludes, but that just feels malicious. The man, presumably Kimball, mumbles something in response, though you do not catch it through the wires and mechanisms surrounding. The woman quickly turns to spot you peering in through the doorway. He gives you a curious look. Oh, she quickly smiles. Hello? She closes the distance. I'm Serene. She offers a hand. I've seen you working on the repair. She tilts her head. We appreciate your efforts. Happy to help. Serene looks over her shoulder at Kimball and then back to you. How do you feel? She pauses, calculating about the war in the inner system. I'm worrying for the belt. I agree, which is why the belt needs to stay informed about it. You know that Senated Stat has already started shipping at Sinsa? Serene watches you for your response. Sinsa? One of the 3 sisters in orbit around Ember. She raises an eyebrow. You haven't left the belt, have you? You hear a grunt from Kimball, his head still buried in the machine's innards. And it is unclear if it's a reference to what was said or just sound of repairs going poorly. We, Serene places a hand on her chest, are the Helion Dispatches, the only pirate radio station in the Starward Belt. Lifts her chin proudly. We keep the system up to date on shifts in the system's power structures and the ongoing corporate war, all through the voices of the Helion system's own residents. Kimball guns again, and a shower of spark bursts from the machine behind Serene. Or at least we did, before our transmitter got fried. Serene looked suddenly crestfallen. What happened? All the repair work you've been giving you time to? It was all caused by a convoy of autonomous munition trained on our scent. Serene's eyes flashed with anger. A murmur comes from Kimball as he pushes a handful of wiring out of his way. I do know that for sure, Kimball. Why else would it come so deep into the belt to hit the hollow at our broadcast site? Serene turns back, hands on hips. Kimball responds with a shrug. By the way, straight after that attack we found our gear had been tampered with. Sabotage. Kimball grunts. Yes, Kimball, or yes, Lou. Either way, we are not quiet, and when we are quiet, the war continues unobserved. Serene folds her arm and looks away to feed her. What do you need? Look, we need a new broadcast array. A better broadcast array. Serene glanced over his shoulder. We don't quite have the reach we would like. Where you get one, that's another problem. We're taking pre-collapsed tech here. It's not something we can just build ourselves. Kimball mutters something from the depths of the machine. Yeah, Holmes Rock isn't a bad idea, Serene replies. It used to be a relay station for Solam, so it stands to reason they would have arrays. And there's a terminal there. Kimball's been begging me to dig out some engine components for him to crack open and use in his repairs. God knows what kind of repairs he would need those for. But that's what he says. Serene looks over his shoulder at Kimball, but receives no response. They both stare at his broad shoulders for a moment as a thin trail of smoke begins to emerge from the machine. No, maybe we can do a little fundraising here in the hollow. What can we get, we'll happily hand over. Serene shakes her head, but I'm telling you now, it won't be a lot. I'll see what I can do. We'd appreciate it. Hell, the people of the healing system would appreciate it. He glanced over his shoulder. I think Kimball would appreciate it too. We leave Serene and Kimball to repairs, make a note of the engine components and wideband array they will need to get back on the air. It's hard to tell if the job will be worth your time, but then again, someone is as knowledgeable as Serene might be a useful asset. I don't know if that would be worth it, man. That's like... Okay, we can repair the transmitter, but this one I have to go all the way over there. Oh, we'll see about it. Let's make some... we get all the money, but then we need food. Let's go... Yeah, better get food now. And there goes... Oh. 666, the number of the beast. The winkling stages of the yards flash across the dark starscape of the belt, each one a siren light for crews in need of repairs or eager for improvements. The scatter yards live up their reputation. The Seraphim will not be drawn by the lights. He guides the ship into an empty, ragged-looking yard, darker and more framed than plate. It looks rougher than any of the others. Seraphim might want to dock somewhere a little more welcoming? We aren't that hard up, Bliss turns to you, or are we worse off than a Fort Sleeper? Best shipwrights rarely have the brightest signs. Would you have known that, Bliss? Seraphim reaches up and flicks a set of switches above his head. Marco's the best in the scatter yards. Best? Or just the best you know? Bliss gives him a skeptical look. You'll see. Seraphim smiles wildly, shutting off the main console and clipping from the pilot seat. We're safe here, Seraphim turns to you. No need to run from Lane for a while. You'll never find us in Marco's yard. Would it be nice to have a break from running? Juni floats at the back of the cockpit. I hear the scatter yard has some good data analysis terminals on the hub. Juni glances at you. If you can spare me. Nia glides into the cockpit. We here? Femi loves this place. He glances at you with a smile. All these grumpy spaces waiting on repairs. I think it fits his temperament. You follow Seraphim as he glides eagerly to the airlock. You and Bliss exchange glances. Both of you are used to Seraphim's headstrong moments. Yet you still can't help but feel that now familiar pull of someone else's problems. Marco! Seraphim opens his arms to the figure coming through the cycling airlock. Ben! And Marco floats through the doorway, a crooked smile across his pale face, his sharp eyes glinting in the rig's bright work lights. two embrace in more of a chest bump than a hug, Seraphine spinning with the momentum of the impact to end with his arm across Marcus' shoulder, the two side by side, grinning. You notice Marcus' eyes quickly falling on you, a slight narrowing, suggesting he has immediate thoughts about your presence. So, this is what you're flying with now, Finn. Marcus shoots you a wink, his expression shifting to conceal his previous curiosity or concern. Bliss? They introduced and said curtly, you two used to be on a crew together, I assume. Me and Finn? No, we are drinking buddies. Marcus' response provokes a laugh in Seraphine. The kind of joke you can't quite catch the tone of. Marcus turns his attention to you, and a sleeper. He smiles. My condolences. It's a damn crime what those corporations do to you. But at least you're out, huh? Yes, nod. Marcus doesn't miss a beat. Marcus turns back to Seraphine. It's been too long, Finn. Not flying there with the old Betty anymore. You immediately see the reaction in Seraphine, his entire being tightening without anything more than the shoulders to signify. No, that's long done. Marcus shrugs. That's the way of the belt. He shakes Seraphine by the shoulder. Come on then, enough floating around in this drafty old thing. Let's get a drink. Marcus turns its attention to you. Feel free to make yourself at home in the yard. Hell, take a little fuel. Got loads of the stuff and it's been quiet for more than a few cycles. Happy to spare some for a friend. See Seraphine down the docking tunnel, waving a hand to you and calling back. I'll have him home in a cycle or two. His laughter echoes down the tunnel as they leave. This turns to you. I'm going to go dig around the other yard for some components the rig could do with. They smile. You got things to do? Being a cadet and wonder if she found her way here to the scatter yard to extract the data on the Hexport tribe. The only way to know would be to find her. Seraphine's words echo in your mind, his insistence that the only way to escape Lane is to beat him on his home turf. With Darkseid just sunward of the scatter yards, this might be the perfect platform from which to attempt such a wild and dangerous plan. Sleeper? Bliss brings you out of your thoughts. I hate it when you do that. Let's take care out there, okay? They drift off down the docking tunnel, leaving you in the layer lock. Seems the next step is up to you. Okay. Okay, well, I think this is the last place we need to be at, but question is... okay, but, let's see. So, yep. Okay, they're gonna be gone for 2 cycles. Hey, you hear a voice echoing through the public passage. Wait up! I'm glad to see you. Cadet sweeps her hair out of her eyes and glances up and down the corridor. This is not my kind of station. Cadet rolls straight into her complaints. All the yards have their own watering facilities, meaning the hub here is not fit for general use. There's a couple of guest houses, but you would not believe the state of them with all the spaces that stop here for surely. He shudders. You don't want to know. Sorry I couldn't come sooner. On the run, I get it, she shrugs. You and me both. Get this, Cadet looks her fingers together and stretches her arm. The girl of mine I said could crack anything? She's gone. Didn't even leave a note. Ran to Darkseid maybe. Not that I would blame her given the state of this place. She looks sideways at the grubby walls. She left the workshop empty though, so I slipped in. That's where I've been napping. I've been doing my best all these cycles to crack the drive, but... Besides, I'm not spin the jack, not a day's escaper. Which is why I'm happy to see you, she takes a breath. Telling you, I've not spoken to anyone in a long time. She runs a hand through her hair. So, we got nothing? You're disappointed? Cadet gives you a strong look. We have a workshop that's safe and tucked away. I was thinking you could help with the rest. Look, I'm in over my head here. Cadet looks away, annoyed with herself. How about you come down to the workshop, you put our heads together and see what we can pull out. I just know there's some nasty shit on that drive. Stop working out in the light. Cadet sets her jaw. Nasty enough for them to ruin my life. I'll be there. Cadet smiles for a moment, then it's gone. Alright then. Okay. The workshop is in the tech cluster. You will see it, she says. Now, I gotta find something to eat that isn't dry. She turns and disappears back down the passageway. The engine component fabricating is in our ship fields only, so they ask for a one-time fee to dissuade casual use. Okay. You pay that. Okay, that's the data we need to fix. What's over here? There we can get the last fuel. And I can't do anything with this right now, so we need to go to our ship and do a cycle. Yeah, but I don't want to travel anywhere, but I can't even look at the map. I'm gonna get this. Oh, nothing over here even. Sleeper, Seraphine voice echoes through the ship. You in there? You glide down to the airlock, unsure what state you're about to find your pilot in. Seraphine floats in the airlock, his arms above his head, gripping the lip of the interior door to hold himself in place. Come on, we need to talk. There's a straight-faced seriousness to Seraphine you weren't expecting, especially considering what he spent the 2 cycles with Marco. You in trouble already? Seraphine shakes his head. I'm not messing around, just come. Seraphine leads you across the bridge, but rather than turn towards the automated shuttle bay that connects Marco's yard to the rest of the assembly, he leads you deeper into the guts of the yard itself. As he does, he begins to speak. Told Marco about Lane, about our escape, about everything. Seraphine ducks under a large pipe. He gets it. He's worked in Darkside. Let him talk. He comes to a sealed door and hammers in an entry code. Somewhere a machine starts whirring. Remember in Wellspring after everything what I said? Seraphine turns to face him. That we can't run but taking Lane on? Exactly that, Seraphine meets your eye. The door suddenly squeals as the ancient motors kick in and drag it across its corroded tracks. It reveals a large half-lit chamber First part's masked with layers of scaffolding and frames, so it's hard to tell where the room actually ends. At the center, in a pool of warm light, Marco floats beside a terminal screen. Sleeper, he touches his brow in a mock salute as you enter. You busy plotting? Seraphine shoots you a look. Just hear Marco out, alright? You hear the door you enter through screech shut, and then suddenly silence descends. Sorry to drag you out here, Sleeper, but I really can't be overheard on this one, he sighs. We are close to Darkside here, and Utsubo have ambitions, shall we say, in the Scatty Yards. Finn told me the whole story, and I'm sorry for your troubles. He claps his hands together. You've done well to evade lanes this far. You must understand, he's also been distracted. Since Hexporter went up, well, Darkside has been in crisis. If the war was the pressure shift that allowed Utsubo to build its strength, Hexporter was the breach to blow it wide open. Marcus brings his hands apart. Hexport's their justification for imposing total control in the name of protection. Marcus glances away in the dark corner of the room, and if my hunch is right, it's how they will extend the reach to the scatter yards. Where is this going? Marco laughs and looks at Seraphine. Straight to the business, this one. I'm done running, Sleeper, Seraphine cuts in. I hate looking over my shoulder every cycle. I hate the nightmares, the fear. I want to face this head on, for better or worse. He looks away scolding. I want to be controlled by Lane. And this is our chance to break that control. Lane is hunting you, Sleeper, which means he's not in Darkside. Marco raises an eyebrow. This is good for you. There are people in Darkside resisting Utsubo, though I hear it's not going well for them. If you could find them, find out what they need, there's a chance here. Marco pauses and get the feeling he is assessing your reaction. Taking action is a choice right now, Sleeper, but soon it won't be. Seraphine glances at Marco. Not if Marco is telling me is true. Let's do this on our own terms. What do we need to do? Seraphine meets your eye with conviction. Thank you, Sleeper. I know we can do this. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Marco interrupts. I will need some time to work this out. If you two want to go to Darkside, there is no way you can take the stolen rig. It was a big enough risk just to bring it here. He glances at Seraphine, and you get the feeling he's already been reprimanded for this. So I need you to find you a way in and a way out. Marco rubs his hands together. I know it can be done. Marco turns to you. I recommend you take the next few cycles prepared. The scatter yards are a good place to both spend and make cry, depending on your need. And Finn, Marco puts a hand on his friend's shoulder. Try to stay cool. This will be recon only. A chance to see what's happening on Darkside and make your connections. It is not the time for grand gestures. Seraphine nods. Thank you, Marco. He glances at you. We'll keep things quiet until you're ready. You and Seraphine leave the hidden bay. The door is squeezing open to allow you to exit. When it seals once more, Seraphine turns to you. It's our chance to shift things, Sleeper. Let's keep our heads in the game. Agreed. I'll start preparing. Well, alright then. We give Marcus some time. I got a few things I want to take care of in the scatter yards, and I want to get a message to Tala. I know she would want to hear from me before. Herself, let's make sure we are ready. Keep your head up, Sleeper, and I will see you on the rig. And with that, Seraphine kicks off down the passageway on his way to the shuttle dock. Watch him go, unsure if you are impressed or unconcerned about his headstrong nature. Either way, things are in motion. The only thing you can do now is give yourself the best chance to have success. Okay, let's get this. Can I catch your eye as you look over at her? What is it? She takes the end of the metal chopstick that she's been chewing on out of her mouth. Got something? Cadet had given up already for the cycle, and while you were cracking the drive's complex encryption on her friend's workstation, she had been floating in the middle of the small workshop, pinging bits of scrap off the shelving of the wall. Now she spins in the air and pushes off from the ceiling, spinning as she glides so she lands perfectly behind you, leaning over the terminal screen. As she does, you hit the key, executing the final decryption process. Slick, she goes to ruffle your hair, but you don't have any. Instead, she just wobbles your head playfully. What we got? With that hanging over your shoulder, you try to concentrate on the data spooling across the screen. First thing that catches your eye is a steady repetition of CWX, an identifier for Conway Extractions, a behemoth conglomerate currently waging a corporate war with Senate stat in the inner system. Why Conway? Why is this data? You stop to scroll looking for details. Hit that thing, Cadet pokes the screen, making it wobble. You dutifully click. Comment expense in the code and notes left by someone. He mentions tests and protocols, discusses reverse engineering and carrier signals. You close in and find another drone latency, another security bypass, one more kill switch. Takes a long time, you and Cadet squinting into the blue screen to build up a picture of what you're looking at. When you're done, both of you sit back, your eyes soaring, your minds clogged with technical terminology. Shit, Cadet shakes her head. They were dissecting it live. He's referring to the Conway drone mine this stream of data was scraped from. Huge volumes of internal data of control systems, protocols, and passphrases. The kind of data you imagine was closely guarded by Conway, kept secret to allow the smooth operation of its drones. This thing is some kind of general manager, right? Giving orders out to all the little drones that work for it. Cadet squints. I always thought Conway controlled its drones remotely with people, those zero latency point interfaces you hear about. From what you know, Cadet is right. Conway is known for their novel solution to the scale and logistical problems of the surrogate systems. Extraction and security drone ships piloted from light years away with proprietary comms interfaces. Drone mine. What this code is scraped from should be the kind of distributor, a relay for the local drones that links to the closely guarded transmitter receiver. But this data suggests otherwise. It suggests an active cognitive process far more complex than any protocol you have heard of, a thinking machine. Look, Cadet jabs at the screen again. Is that? She squints. You see a line in the data stream that reads simply, stop, get out, stop, get out, stop, get out, stop, get out. How did they do this? Cadet leans back. Everyone knows captured Conway drones purge themselves and everything else is in the couple of square clicks around them when captured. Rip the control core out of one, sure, you can disassemble it, but its system will be gone. This one was still running when they took it apart. It should have gone up like a tactical nuke the moment they started. She stopped suddenly, the fate of Hexport jumping into her mind. Is that what happened? But how did they get all this and get it out on a drive? Silence fills the workshop. You look back to the screen, unsure of the answers to Cadet's questions. You feel a deep chill, one that you know has nothing to do with the temperature of the workshop. Who the hell was doing this? Cadet scans the code once more. Work out who? You go back over the data, it's scrubbed clean, not to mention of who was scraping the data. You go over it again, nothing, not a single clue. The thought starts the process in your mind. Who scrubs data this clean? Who wants Conway drone protocols? Centerstat? Or is that too simple, too obvious for it to be Conway's lone opponent in this system-wide war? It's a possibility, so you say it out loud. Yeah, that would be my first guess too, Cadet yawns, but it's still a guess. Been at it is too long, Cadet says. I'm cooked. She pushes away from the terminal, floats in the room, stretching out her aching back. You know they did this drone mine on Hexport. That's where they were cutting it, scraping it. We know something happened and Hexport went up. She sketches her thoughts out in the air with hand gestures as she summarizes. The data got out on that drive, I'm assuming before the explosion, then got to the far spindle. Someone tried to courier it using me, but the receiver wasn't there. She turns and looks at you, which is when they ruined my life and my job trying to get it back. We need more information. Yeah, she sighs. We do. She floats over to the drive and picks it up. This thing has trouble with written all over it. But it's also the only way to buy my life back, she frowns. The way I see it, we have to expose those fools so they leave me be, or give them the data so they piss off forever. We can't give them this. Not if we don't know who they are. She laughs half-heartedly, but yeah, we can. All the roads lead in one direction, I'm afraid. She spins the drive in there. Back home. Export. If there's anything to confirm or deny it to this data, if there's anything to connect to it, if there's anything left at all, it will be in the remains of that station. I think it might come to this, so I made some inquiries when I first got here. The word is that the place is radiated to hell, but I also heard the radiation is fading. Not like half the belt isn't glowing anyway. She strikes grimly. With suits, we would have maybe a few cycles before it started to leak through. Problem is getting in. She puts the drive back on the test magnetic surface. Far spindle is a no. Not only do I not want to get picked up there, but the debris is denser on that side. No safe way in. Dark side is the best bet. She shakes her head. But I heard you have some trouble waiting for you there. What if I deal with the trouble? Then we would have a clear shot at it. She's right. Easy said than done. This place is one hell of a stowaway spot, shielded from everything. Plus the scatter yards are no one's territory. I'm gonna leave the drive here. The squints at you. No peeking. But me, I want to keep moving, so I was thinking I could make myself useful to you. Shake that trouble in dark side. He smiles. Bug for room and board and all that. It could be dangerous. More dangerous than waiting for my troubles to catch up with me? Doubt it. What do you say? He folds her arms. You know I'm tough. I can do plenty besides ride an airbike. You're in. That's the answer I was looking for. Cadet scans the workshop. I've had enough of the spaceship bathrooms for a lifetime. Make myself at home in your rig. She picks up the drive and tucks it in the pocket. Cadet glances away at the racks on the wall. You follow her eyes to spot her airbike where it's hanging. Carefully secured and pristinely kept. Cadet gives you a hard look. You better have room for my bike. Okay. We can do one here. Maybe. Okay. Do here. That's some quality work you've been doing, the voice boomed through the locker room after you shifter shift. Why are you doing grunt work, sleeper? Turned to see a large man with a metal arm and bright patterned clothes. You spent enough time here to immediately know this is Roya, owner of the yard and well-known shipfitter. Well, Soraya wipes his one metallic hand on the cloth, polishing his painted style. What do you have to say for yourself? I want to meet you. Soraya smiles. Well, I'm here, aren't I? I know a lot of what happens in the scatter yards, sleeper, and what I don't know, people tell me. He smiles proudly, and I know you have a ship. Someone who has a ship, especially a ship like yours, should not be lugging around my work as tools. Soraya flexes his artificial arm, inspecting. That, to a person like me, is a waste. Ship costs cry to run. True, all the more reason to really use them though, isn't it? I want to take a look at your ship, sleeper. Soraya goes back to working on the hand. Call it professional curiosity. A bit drab. Soraya looks up and meets your eye. An old Solheim rig, still in corporate colors. He shakes his head. No. Feel like that's your problem. People want a crew that looks the part. An outfit with an outfit, he grins. Look at my yard. I grew it from a chunk of scrap, showing people I was professional. I have standards. I made Soraya's yard recognizable. The problem is you're working as a ship fitter's mate, and you should be imagining him much more for yourself and your crew, Soraya smiles. So that got me thinking. I want to help you to clean up that old rig, paint it up and give it some color. He tucks the cloth away in his tool belt. How does that sound? I would love that. Perfect, Soraya booms. Thing is, you don't just slap some paper on an old rig like that, and for this to work you need its look to reflect your crew, your style. While I'm happy to do the painting with my team, I'll need to go find some inspiration. Soraya looks away towards the locker room's lone window. Luckily the belt is full of it, full of pattern, texture and style. There's nothing uniform about this place, and it's the better for it. Soraya looks back at you. You need to go out there, find some views, some sights, and make your own designs. Here, proudly pulls a small slate from his tool bag. Has a 64 color screen. I fixed it up myself. Take an inspected slate made from mismatched pieces, but elegantly so. See what you find to inspire you, he smiles, then come see me again. Where should I go? Car spinner would be a good place to start. Colorful, bright place, I think. That rig is drab enough. I can see what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's in it for me financially? Soraya eyes you carefully. How does this make you any shit? That's the other part of the proposal. While you take this voyage around the belt, you can do something for me and get paid for it. Free of charge. I will paint your rig with the look and name of my yard here. Soraya's yard. It commands respect, he nods sagely. You take the name to the rest of the belt, represent it, and when you travel, spread it to your other crews. For this, I will pay you 300 cryo. It's mutually beneficial. You will earn better doing this than any yard work, and I get increased custom. What's not to like? Soraya awaits your response calmly, but you feel his expectant eyes on you. Okay, it's a deal. Wonderful, Soraya beams. I'll send my team over immediately, but by the time you return to rig, they should be done. Reach it into the work pouch. Here, 150 cryo now. He takes out a handful of higher value shit. Another 150 cryo when you return with those designs. This isn't what we agreed. Sure you understand, but he hands you the shit. I need to be positive you don't repaint the ship before your pilgrimage is done. It's only fair. Keep the slate. He waves an arm at you to put it away. Go find inspiration. Bring me those designs. I want to see you back on this shipyard. You need to be out of here. Soraya smiles. It was a pleasure, and before you can say anything else, he's gone. Time to find out what this crew have done to your rig. Okay. Oh, come on, man. Oh, what a bullshit. Oh yeah, we can't do anything. You found Seraphine and Mark are waiting for you in the hidden room where you met before. You're shouting quietly, the shadows cast across the scaffolding by a small lamp. Sleeper, Mark has got something good, he nods to Mark. Tell him. Mark gives you a nod as you look at him, his mood quiet, conspirational. I don't know if it's as good as Finn thinks, but it's an opening. I heard back from a friend of mine who runs a yard on the edge of the cluster, a fair way out from here. Smart guy, he makes a tidy profit selling fuel to freight crews on the way into dark side. He undercuts the dark side dockyard fuel prices, which includes a cut for Utsubo, But they stop off at his place to fill up before heading in. Marcus upon Miles. Here, this is the kind of business. This guy owes me a favor and I'm gonna call it in. He can get a few of us onto a freight crew. Help us out from the usuals who stay at this place and let them have a few drinks on him. Crew, meaning us, will deliver the freight complete with a stopover for cargo loading in Darkside. He smiles. Which is when you do what you need to do. We'll have as long as we need, but the more time we spend it, the more likely to discover us. Marco looks at you. We keep our heads down, sleep and eat on the freighter. And once we're done, on the freighter's loaded, we take it out and we take it on out again. Return to my friend's yard and swap the crews back. He shrugged, emphasizing the simplicity of the plan. No one will ever know we were there. Hey, it's good, Seraphine nods. It worked, right? But I have to check the crew list. What? The manifest? Not going to happen. And who's to say you aren't the names on that list? This is the belt. Don't look concerned. It's going to be tight, but I reckon you can get what you need in time. Make some connections with whoever is resisting Utsubo. Get an idea of the operation. Look for weaknesses. It will have to be quiet, Finn. Mark gives you both a warning look. No noise, no attention. This can quickly become a one-way ticket. Then he turns to you. Think you can handle that? Together we'll get it done. Seraphine and Marco exchange concerned glances. What aren't they telling you? There's more and more things, Sleeper. Seraphine looks down. Someone needs to stay with the rig. Someone who can pilot it if there is any attention at the yard. He meets your eye. It has to be like this. I'm sorry. I'll be going in with you. Marco puts a reassuring hand on your shoulder. I know, Darkside. I'll guide you all the way in and all the way out. There will be room for one more on the crew. I'll leave you who that is to you, but let me give you some advice. He leans in close. You better be sure you really trust anybody you take on this one. You look between the two of them. Yes, you and Marco might be the safer option. Fewer people, the less likely it is you give yourself away. But then if Marco doesn't keep up his end of the bargain, you will want all the backup you can get. The other problem is that we have to go right away. You see the rising tension in Marco's face. The freight is arriving this cycle. Seraphine turns in. I'm sorry I can't come, Sleeper, but we need to do this now. Then let's go. Seraphine nods, his expression dark. I'll be ready whenever you need. Just give me the word and we'll head out to my friend's yard. Marcus says. We keep this tight and nothing needs to go wrong. Words echoing in your mind as you leave the hidden room and creeping. This is it. Time to go back to Darkside. Okay. Yeah. The heck did I get there? Okay, so we need to go here. I mean, hacking, I guess, is her job, so... I assume that's what we're gonna need. The freighter hangs over the ragged shipyard as the rig idles in the dock. Your eyes trace the fuel lines snaking up to its underside where they disappear into the dark. Shout from the pilot's console breaks the silence. Mark a signal. This is it, Sleeper. Serafin settles back to the controls of the rig. He looks over his shoulder at you. You better get going. This goes wrong? I'm blaming you. I would expect nothing less, Serafin smirks. Glide towards the back of the cockpit, Serafin clears his throat. Just don't do anything reckless, alright? Float down the corridor towards the airlock. Marco comes to meet you, his usual gear swapped out for a plain set of overalls that you imagine are borrowed from the freighter crew. We're ready to go, Sleeper? The crew we are replacing are already in yacht, so the sooner we get on board the better. He gives you a look. How are you feeling? Confident. He smiles. That's what I like to hear. No reason not to be. He pats you on the shoulder as you cross into the airlock. The airlock cycles. Marco leads you into the yard through a series of shadowy passages that connect the two docking bridges. Now's the time, Sleeper, Marco says as you work your way through the yard. Any questions, any concerns, speaks out now. What do we do when we get there? Marco's right, that's mostly up to you, but if it were up to me, I would say we ask some very soft questions, try to find where those organizing against Utsubo might be meeting, you reach a vertical tunnel and start descending. Although we could also focus on just checking out Utsubo themselves, see what they know and what they are up to. Come out at the entrance to the other docking tunnel, the freighter filling in the viewing window, so all you can see are plates of its scratched hull. Jimmy is waiting by the docking bridge looking sheepish in a set of crew overalls with rolled legs and sleeves. Sleeper, is this really necessary? You are being discreet. Well, why aren't you wearing any then? Jimmy shakes her head and pats down her sides. These things don't even have close enough pockets. Where am I supposed to keep my gear? Sorry to interrupt, we need to go. Marky gestures to the docking bridge. Hit the button to open the doors and glide towards the freighter's airlock. As you do, the fear settles in. You're going back to dark side. To the dark side of the force now. Dark side sprawls out across the starscape. It surfaces a vast and random accumulation of structures, lights, and signs. You have watched it as the freighter cut across the belt as it grew, cycle by cycle, like a stain across the cockpit glass. Watching it approach, the fragmented memories of your time here pass through your mind, each one dissolving the moment you try to focus on it. Only the sensations remain. Despair, claustrophobia, fear, all somehow strengthened by the disconnected nature. It's as if, by not attached to specific memories, they can run free through your mind, as live as they were in the first moment of feeling. Instructions received. Appreciated. Marco is in the pilot seat, taken to the port authority. Incoming to strut 2-3, he turns back to you, clicking off the outgoing comm channel. First step complete. We got docking approval as expected. He raises his eyebrows, noticing something in your face. Keep it together, alright? I got this. I'm fine. Good. He turns back to the controls. I get it. Uni's voice carries across the cockpit, catching your attention. This place comes with a lot of baggage, right? She nods. I can understand that. But you're on here alone, not this time. Juni gives you a serious look. We look out for you. There's a hollow rumble through the body of the freighter as Marco brings it into the dock. The noise of this draftier, more industrial ship different to those of your rig. You haven't quite got used to them yet. Squawk of noise over the comm sends Marco scrabbling at the controls to submit the docking code he was sent just moments before. There's an agonizing wait and then a chirp as the code is accepted. The freighter is docked. Alright, let me go out first, talk to the doctor, start the unloading. He clips his seat, and you're good to go. Okay, I'll wait. Marco nods. Alright, all fast, and he glides out of the cockpit without waiting for a response. You hold your nerve looking out at the flickering lights and distant traffic. The airlock clunks open and closed again. Time drags on. Turn your attention to the job ahead, seeing it stretch out in front of you. Dark side seems impossibly vast. Too vast to find a specific person, but just to find a type of person, someone unhappy with Utsubo's gains. ready to risk their lives to change this place, pushed to a point of desperation and anger. There might not be a lot of doable. First, you must understand Utsubo. See how they run this place, where they meet, what they talk about. Find where Utsubo is weakest. Find where they can be broken, and think about the pressure that might be applied, not just by you, but by all of Darkside. You hear tapping in the corner and see Juni with her deck under her lap, finger dancing over the key. She looks hard at work, focused. What are you working on? Me? Oh. Juni reflexively shuts off the screen as if it was showing something illicit. Nothing, just a project of mine. Sorry. He pauses, sighs, and turns the deck back on, rotating its clip-on screen to face you. It hits a large key and a four-legged shape appears, drawn in simple lines, its tail twitching as it sits. It helps me relax. You glance at the screen. Coding its behaviors. You watch as the cat lifts a paw and bats at a handful of pixels. A fly? Juni switches the deck off again. I'll stay focused on the job. Won't happen again. She looks down, clearly embarrassed. It's cute. He laughs a little. Yeah, I guess it is. Airlock cycles once more, and moments later, Marco is in the cockpit, sweat bedding on his brow. He takes a moment, his mood uncharacteristically flustered. Well, I bent the truth a little back there, but I think we're good. Runs a hand over his hair, slicking it back into place. Luckily, I've had a lot of practice lying to dock workers. Gives you a wink. They'll begin unloading later this cycle and they won't be in a rush, he smiles. We have our time as promised. But sudden interjection evaporates any relief you were feeling. Utsubo are watching these dogs, that I know for sure. Now we're just another freighter, but all our coming and going, that could be a problem. It turns to you. We can try to disable the monitoring or just get the job done before it becomes an issue. I'll take a look. Marco notes, I'm sure you will. By the way, we need to get on with what we are doing. Marco folds his arms. And Utsubo are everywhere, but we need to understand them to know what's happening inside the organization. Clip under the skin and find out how they work. Marco looks to you. This is what I recommend. But now, Sleeper, this is your turn to lead. He folds his arm. Tell us where to begin. You feel your attention, the pressure shift to you. Time to find some allies. Time to find Utsubo's weakness. Time to stop running and resist. Oh boy.